I've had a couple requests to do some kind of video or blog entry on how to be a vegan on a tight budget. My husband and I are both artists. We're paying back our college tuition. I mean, we have a lot of bills and we're not making a lot of money right now, so we have to be really tight and careful with our budget. But I have found that I don't have to compromise on my health or anything like that, and I can still stay within my budget. There are some weeks where I spend a little bit more than other weeks, but if I really have to, I can definitely stick to a very tight budget when it comes to shopping as a vegan. So sometimes in my videos you may see more specialty items, sometimes you won't. So that just depends on how much we have budgeted for groceries that week. If we had any unexpected expenses that we needed to address, then I might do more simple meal plan. So I'm just going over some basic tips and tricks that I've picked up along the way. I'm sure there are more than just these tips out there for you if you're trying to save money as a vegan. These are just some things that I've discovered along the way. So I also wrote a blog entry to accompany this post, so I'm not going to go into huge amounts of detail in this video. If you want more detail on the subject, check out my blog entry. I'm posting it up at my blog, veggie-beauty.blogspot.com. It will also be up on my website as well, which is just veggiebeauty.com. It'll be under vegan nutrition in my blog section, or also there's just an update section on my page to the right hand side, so you can just click on it from there as well. Eating healthy diet, whether you're vegan or not, is more expensive than eating a diet full of prepackaged garbage, which is what is on the shelves of most of our grocery stores. A good rule is if you can't pronounce half the ingredients, then maybe you should avoid buying that product. The reason that those items are so cheap is because the government subsidizes corn and soybeans. The government subsidizes these items. They aren't the most nutritious items that you can eat in your diet. They don't subsidize any kind of produce really, especially organic produce. Eat healthier, you will be eating more whole foods, more plants, more produce, so this is going to be more expensive. But remember, there are hidden costs to eating unhealthy food. It may not be apparent right away, but your health will be impacted if you keep eating prepackaged foods that aren't full of the nutrients that your body needs to be healthy, happy, and functioning. And that's where a lot of vegans come into a problem. I've noticed a lot of people start off veganism buying a bunch of prepackaged foods like Boca and Morningstar and those kinds of products. You have to remember that those are convenience foods, so they're not really made to be healthy or made to be a huge part of your diet. They're really just to use in a pinch, or occasionally as a treat, as you would eat a dessert or something like that. They are not the healthiest foods in the world. I think one of those companies, Boca or Morningstar, are owned by a meat company. I mean, you have to keep that stuff in mind. And besides, they're really, really expensive. I think the best solution is just to learn how to make your own fake meats. I make my own fake meats. I don't buy Boca or Morningstar. I just make seitan with vital wheat gluten, and I have a recipe for that up on my blog as well if you want to check that out. I will link that in the down bar too. It's just a lot more affordable to make your own, and you can totally control what you put into it. It's nice to have that control. Eating healthy is also the most affordable health insurance policy. This is why I really stress eating a healthy vegan diet and the fact that it will save you money if you really think about it, if you have a larger perspective on it, as opposed to just the immediate cost of your grocery bill. People get stuck and hung up on that, and it's like, I don't think people realize the impact that eating a healthy plant-based diet has on your lifestyle. I don't get sick anymore, you guys. The last time I got sick was a tooth issue that I'd had from a long time ago because I was eating processed foods, and like when it acted up was when I drank pop. I've given up soda, I've given up all that stuff, but that's another issue. It would cost $600 to insure me a month, so we can't afford that. We definitely can't afford that. So eating healthy is my health insurance policy. It is the best health insurance policy I have against going to the doctor, getting sick, that kind of thing. So I think a lot of people forget that and don't think about that as much as they should, how what they're eating will impact their health. And I think the doctors need to put more emphasis on our diets as opposed to just giving us medication right away for everything. I'm not opposed to medication when you need it, but I think that there's a lot of prevention that could be done that is not being done because they don't stand to make money off of us, especially if we don't come into the doctor, if we're not buying all this medication, if we're not buying all these prescriptions. I know this sounds like a conspiracy theory, but I honestly don't trust medical care these days because it's a big business. It's not there to help us. I mean, to a degree it is, but as long as they stand to make a profit off our health and our sickness, I always take what doctors say with a grain of salt, especially if they're not going to the heart of the issue, health and nutrition aspect of our lifestyles. A lot of people talk about buying organic produce, and a lot of people can't afford to do that. I have very limited access to organic produce where I live personally, and the produce I do have access to that is organic is very expensive for me. You can't be perfect when you're on a budget. Like, you have to come to this conclusion. Like, you can't buy the most perfect everything. Like, you kind of have to pick and choose what you buy according to what you can afford. So there are some tips I can give you as far as buying organic. If you have a farmer's market, that will be like the cheapest way for you to buy organic produce. Just make sure to talk to the sellers and see what their farming practices are. And it's always good to buy local when you can, because that's the most eco-friendly way to buy produce. And you're supporting local businesses, that kind of thing. But again, a lot of people don't have access to those kind of things. If you're going grocery shopping, you have to remember not all foods are contaminated to the same level with pesticides. There's something called the Dirty Dozen, according to organic.org. They're the foods that are most contaminated by pesticides. So I'd say if you have money to budget for organic produce, I would buy produce in that list. I would buy that organic stuff in that list, the top 12, the Dirty Dozen, that you should avoid if you can, if it's in your budget too. Peaches, apples, sweet bell peppers, celery, nectarines, strawberries, cherries, pears, grapes that are imported, spinach, lettuce, and potatoes. And that's a lot of what I eat, so I know that sounds frightening, but you have to do what you have to do for your budget. Like I always say, it's better to eat nutrient-rich food as opposed to eating nutrient-devoid food. So if you don't have the money to buy organic, at least you're getting foods that are filled with nutrients. And the 12 least contaminated foods, if you're curious, are onions, avocados, sweet corn that's frozen, pineapples, mango, asparagus, sweet peas that are frozen, kiwi fruit, bananas, cabbage, broccoli, and papaya. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're making your budget for the week. Skip the canned and boxed foods if you possibly can. I'm all about convenience sometimes. When I'm busy, I like to have a can of beans, but I think the majority of your beans, which is going to be the main part of your protein, should be from bags, or from the bulk section of your grocery store, like the ones that are in bins. It's so much more affordable to buy it that way. If you cook your own, you can get one bag of beans for about $1, and that equals about 3 cans of beans. So you're getting triple the amount of beans for the cost, and it's just a much better deal to do it that way. The same thing with rice. A lot of like minute rice and stuff like that is pre-cooked, so when you constitute it with water, you're not going to get nearly as much rice as you are with uncooked rice, or like the long grain rice that you buy in the bag. So definitely avoid the boxed and canned stuff if you can. If you have a food co-op, a lot of times they have bins that you just pour whatever you want into a bag. a lot of times you can even buy organic that way and it's still affordable. So if you have access to something like that, check that out. The number one way to save money, limit vegan specialty items. A lot of people say they can't go vegan without vegan cheese, tofu, all that stuff. You don't need it. You don't, if it's not in your budget, you don't have to buy it. And I honestly rarely buy that stuff. Like maybe one meal a week I'll buy it for as a treat. I don't look at it as a way to get nutrition. I just look at it as a treat, because a lot of times that stuff is filled with soy or a bunch of preservatives or whatever they put in it. I don't know. Have a supplement for your B12, so nutritional yeast. If you don't want to get your B12 that way, you can get it through vegan supplements. A lot of times non-dairy milks are enriched with B12. You can take vegan vitamin supplements, which I just ordered some actually, because I just want it as a health insurance kind of backup plan. It is important to make sure you're getting your vitamins, but don't spend all your money on Boca burgers, on tofu, on vegan cheeses, on vegan sour cream, on vegan all that stuff. You don't need it. Look at it as a treat. You should be getting most of your food budget should be put towards whole foods like grains, fruit, vegetables, nuts. Make sure to shop around. Don't just shop in one place. Know your prices. Go around to different stores. See the prices on items that you buy all the time. Look up ads online or in your local flyer. See if there's sales for that week. Stock up on canned items or bagged items if they're having a sale that week. I like to shop at Aldi. You guys know I do. I'm going to be moving soon, so I won't have access to Aldi as often. So I probably will have to go and stock up when I'm around one. But, you know, you have to do what you can. But Aldi has amazing, amazing deals on canned goods. So I always get like my canned goods and try to get a lot of my produce there because it's affordable for me. And then I'll get specialty items or items I can't get at Aldi at another grocery store. So I'm saving money because I'm spending the bulk of my money at Aldi, where I can monitor my finances a little bit more closely. Last but not least, get cooking, you guys. Don't eat out. That's where a lot of your budget will go. If you eat out, eat fast food every week, you will be broke in no time if you're eating out every day. You save so much money eating at home, cooking for yourself. You're making healthier food. You can make healthier food choices because you're cooking for yourself. You need to get to know your food, know what nutrients are in your food. Get some books on veganism and vegan cooking. I will link some cookbooks in the down bar and some basic starter books to help you out. Become familiar with vegetables and all the things you can eat as vegan. Don't stagnate. Don't make the same stuff over and over again. Try new recipes. Try new cuisines. Be exciting and adventurous with your cooking. It's definitely worth the effort of learning how to cook for yourself. I really think that being a vegan can be affordable and accessible for everyone. I do think that you need to do research on it for yourself. You need to be educated on being healthy and not just eating convenience foods, because a lot of people think that they eat those foods and they feel like crap and then they blame it on the vegan diet. If you're eating a healthy, balanced vegan diet, you will have so much energy. You will feel healthy and alive. You'll be losing weight. You'll be doing very well for yourself. So just keep that stuff in mind. If you have any questions, let me know, or if you have any tips to help us out, that would be awesome too.